get my 6. Did you hear a tree knock? Guys, I just ran 3 miles and I'm going to do my cool down now. I always take a walk around the whole property. It takes me about 15 minutes or so. That way I get to cool down. I'm going to take you with me because of 2 things. It's so beautiful. I already started my cool down. I thought, man, it's so beautiful. I haven't really shown off the beauty of this place in a while, so I need to make a video while I do this and talk about something I want to talk about and just share this with you, because I know a lot of you have been here on this channel for years, and you remember watching me and my wife and our son plant this stuff. Look at this. Cherry tree. It's about 15 feet tall now. It's one of my favorites because I thought it was dead, but it survived. Made a heck of a comeback. Look at this poplar tree. 12 feet tall. These cedars were only 4 or 5 feet, 5 at the most, probably 4 feet now. They're 12 to 15 feet tall. And there's hundreds of them in what we call our man-made forest here to block the view and the sound of the road. We don't have a lot of traffic out here, but we just don't want to see or hear that, which we do. Make them all the way over to the bees. Going to show you some projects. This is a privet. I planted this thing, maybe it was 2 feet tall. Look at that. It's huge. But I want to tell you parts of this story. You know, we recently lost some livestock. People's been asking about Cleopatra the cat. Is she okay? What about the rabbits? Are they okay? What about the other chickens? Are they okay? Listen, some are. Cleopatra is alive and well. She's afraid to leave the house. Can't say the same for everybody else. They're not all gone, but let me show you. I'm going to show you the bees in a project I've done here. So many projects. I just want to show you one. I got this wild idea. And because we have bees, I'm going to take you out and show you the bees. They're doing well. So my son and I, and Dearly too, are always playing in this field. Except for the middle of summer when it's like 95 degrees, 95% humidity. We do so much out here, and I feel so great for my son. Could you imagine having a yard that a lot of you watch do, but that's the yard my kid gets to play in growing up. But we don't use this top part up here. You can see I recently tillered it up. What I did, since the bees are here, I decided to till all this up, all the way back there. I mean, this is the length of a football field. And I planted, you know, those wildflower mixes, seed mixes. They come in these big packs. They claim they have 50,000 seeds per pack. I bought 8 of those. So I have 400,000 wildflower seeds planted here. So the bees can have that nectar, do their pollination thing when they come up. These things come up mid-July through fall. And I'm thinking about going in between some of these trees in the man-made forest, because I can't get the big zero-turn mower I have in there anyway. I'm thinking about tilling that up and planting flowers there too, because flowers are prettier than weeds. Here's a patch of firewood trees. These came up on their own. I left them, mulched them. Somebody said that if you can get honeybees, and when they make sour wood honey, it's delicious. So we had bees in mind. We knew they were coming, so I left those there, because this is the spot where we're going to put our bees. Look at that. Look at all those beautiful, beautiful bees. It's kind of it's not, well, it's a little bit chilly today and it's a little bit breezy. When we have days up in the 80s with no wind, you can come out here and these bees are working so much, they're swarming so much, you can barely see the box. Of course, we got eastern redbud trees, this whole line. All the way, I mean, there's a couple in there. I think there's a locust, hickory, and a poplar. But we're just going to let them stay there. But 99% of those trees are eastern redbuds. So they will get those beautiful purple flowers in the spring. I'm going to walk you down and show you my fruit orchard. And between here and there, because it's a hike, I'm going to talk to you about what's been going on here. All right, Cleopatra. Live and well. Scared to leave the house. You know, I didn't tell you guys this stuff. It didn't just happen the other night. This has been going on again for a little while, and I wasn't going to tell you because I was just going to write it in the next Bigfoot Sasquatch Files, Volume 11, but that's been put on hold for a while anyway, and I'm going to tell you why. It has nothing to do with some more online movie streamers trying to get the rights for a series. It's something different. Different project, literature project I'm working on. But that one rooster, Dean, who became the beta because he was sitting in the house getting fat and happy. He wasn't out free ranging, doing any activity. He wasn't eating healthy. So Backup, the rooster, beat his tail feathers because they got at each other one day. Backup moved up to first string quarterback starter. So he got to go in the pen with the girls. We had to separate Dean. Dean would not go in the other pen. He wanted to go in the garage, jump up on my lawnmower, my old lawnmower, and then jump up on the beam and roost there in the garage so he could come out bright and early the next morning and go running his mouth again to first string. You know, we changed his name because he's no longer Backup. It's like, wow, you haven't had enough, dude? You know, so anyway, one morning, just maybe a week or so ago, I couldn't hear him. He wasn't out there screaming. He's gone. He's gone without a trace. Something took him, and there were no feathers anywhere, no blood. He's just gone. And if you just heard voices, that was nothing paranormal. 3 very fit, very healthy looking ladies in their 50s just went by on bicycles. This is a big area for cycling and running, you know, healthy people here, healthy. So that's what that was. So I thought, well, I wonder what has come out here. Here's our driveway, lined entirely on one side with 60 various fruit trees that we planted. We've turned what was a hay field into just a paradise. Well, then the 2 male rabbits disappeared. Yeah, those big ones we have. I discovered the day after they were gone that the female, Mrs. Einstein, had given birth. And there's 12 baby bunnies. I've counted them. The guys, they got out of their pen. I went in to feed them and the chickens, and they hopped out. I neglected to close the pen behind me. Look at these Leland cypresses. These were 18 inches tall when we bought them from Walmart.com one winter, because that's when you can get them for like half price. They're like $30 each. Planted these things our first winter here. 15 feet tall. Gorgeous, isn't it? Let me show you this fruit orchard behind. This is our privacy hedge on this part of the property. All right. Keep it all mowed down. Keep it beautified. I will never understand why anybody would spend so much money on a property to not take care of it. Well, that's not us. So it looks like a resort, and we do all this work ourselves. And I mean, I'm not bragging, I'm not showing off, I'm just taking pride in this. It's a lot of work, and I honestly believe it's worth it, because look at this. What we got here? We got a pear tree. It's got some little teeny tiny pears. I don't know if they'll make it or not. I don't think they're going to. We got peaches, apricots, domestic plums, wild plums. It's another big pear tree. Look at that. I mean, the wind's kind of messing around. We got apple trees in here, various types of apples. It's one of my favorites right here. This is called the American plum. It's indigenous to Virginia. Like a weeping willow, their root systems are very greedy when it comes to water. They love to suck up water. That's why I've got a couple planted close here. This is where the water naturally runs off in the spring during the heavy rains. So we intentionally, this entire, what used to be a problematic place on this part of the property with water, is all lined with these plums. We've had no flooding, no massive mucks in the last couple of years since their root systems have taken place. Look at this. We got a pear tree over here. It's got so many pears on it that it's leaning it over. Now, a lot of people would be tempted to stake it up, but here's the deal. You've got to let the tree gain strength to support itself. Otherwise, you'll be staking it up every year, and it'll never be able to support itself. It will eventually break. Look at this peach tree. This thing was 2.5 feet tall when we bought it. It is every bit of 20 feet tall now, and look at all those peaches. Look at those peaches. Now, you just heard more voices. Nothing paranormal, more cyclists. And listen, and the other night, when you heard those voices, it was not cyclists. I look back, there's nobody, and I know the difference, okay? I understand English, the language these cyclists are speaking when they go by, and I don't understand paranormal gibberish, which is what I heard the other night. The only thing I could identify was the cackling and the laughter. Here's the pond. I know I'm supposed to be telling you about rabbits, but aren't these flowers beautiful? Now here a little bit later, get these beautiful purple ones that bloom all the way up and around. Oh, this is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Got more peaches over here. More peaches. This place, it's our goal. When we bought this 5 years ago and the whole place was just a hayfield, there was nothing. I said, I'm going to turn this in to an edible paradise. I'm going to make it to where you can't walk 50 feet without being able to just reach over and pick something up and eat it. And over here we have our blueberry bushes. We get big old giant blueberries. We've already got some coming on. Look at that, blueberry bushes. And I'm getting ready to plant a bunch more blueberries. All right, so long story short, the male rabbits are gone. No trace. Now, they might come back. I'm hoping they do. I'm thinking since the female just had her babies, they're off looking for other females, because I saw them gallivanting around with a couple of eastern cottontail rabbits for a day or two, but now they're just whatever. But I'm going to show you the baby rabbits and the mother. Oh, check this out. Here's a big old tree that fell down. Talk about a project. Look at this. Look at that massive root from the wind. It's 10 feet. All right, let me show you the babies. There they are. Look at that. Sleeping, that's what they do. But trust me, they're alive and well. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, see that? When they hear me talk, they start moving around. The mother kind of kicked this thing over trying to get out of here. She doesn't like being pinned up like this, but that's the only way. There she is. Look at that. There's the proud mommy. Hello, proud mommy. She's got plenty of water and food. And I'm giving her fresh cut grass every day. So I put a box over there for her to sit in and hang out in, but she doesn't go there. But she's taking care of her babies. She's keeping them covered up with fur. You know, she uncovers them to go in and feed them. It's probably going to be about another 10 days. It takes about 21 days to wean bunnies. Maybe they've been here for 10 days. Maybe they got another 10 days to go. But boy, she's a big girl. She's as big as our cat Cleopatra now. She's a half Australian meat rabbit and the other half some kind of French meat rabbit. But these bunnies get, her father weighed, I think, 25 pounds. And you talk about projects. This pine tree has become a project. I started up here from this angle because when this thing fell, the tip of this tree was actually, it almost hit these trees here. But just in about, maybe a week or so, I've managed to cut it all back. Gotten rid of most of the boughs, the branches. Got a few here I got to get. And then it's just going to be the trunks. Got a multiple trunk system there. Of course, just stacking it up here to dry. And at some point, I'll bring the wood splitter over. I can hook that up to the truck, haul it over here. Split this up for campfire wood. We don't like to burn pine in the house. We like to just use the hardwoods because of the resin. You know, we don't want to take the chance of it causing a flue fire, but it makes excellent campfire wood. So we're gonna go up there now and I'm gonna tell you the rest of the story now that I've shown off I just think this is beautiful. The gardens, see, we got potatoes coming up, we got onions coming up. I'm still burning wood at night in the wood stove, so when I cleaned it yesterday, I brought the ash out to sprinkle on some of this stuff so it could get the nitrogen. But as you can see, we got onions up. The potatoes have come up. We got a bunch of potatoes planted in here. We got asparagus. Over here is where we put our pumpkins this year. Check it out. Pumpkins are up. This is all going to be our pumpkin patch. I'm going to clean this up, trust me. That really cool thing about that pumpkin patch is that me, Dearly, and Daniel planted that together the night before they left to take their trip to the Philippines. That's something, you know, you got to make sure they had this luggage, that luggage, this paperwork to get in and out of the country. But we also had to make sure that as a family, we planted that pumpkin patch because everything else we got planted this year together. except the pumpkins. And we just love to do everything together. So this fall, hopefully when we're looking at our pumpkins, we'll be able to say that's something we did together. We just, like all the trees. This up here is another apple orchard. The first row is not apples. It's more eastern red buds. But we got apple trees up here. And this is another part of the story I haven't told you about. I was saving it for the book, but I'm just going to tell you because the book's been put off for a while. One day I come out here and one of my 8 apple trees up here that they're doing well, perfectly healthy, is just pulled up out of the ground and tossed over on its side. There was no wind, there was no damage anywhere else. And I thought, okay, what did this? There's been in the house some creepy stuff. This is paranormal related stuff in the house. It's potentially, okay, potentially. It's not Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And I don't know how long this has been going on, and I just haven't been paying attention to it because my wife has been in the house, my son's been in the house. So you hear things, you assume it's one of them. And these beautiful little white flowers all behind me up here through the meadow, you see patches of white everywhere. That's all blackberries. They're delicious. And when we were looking at this property to buy it 5 years ago, we came out in late July and there were berries all over the bushes. Of course, on the edge of this was all hayfield. We're letting this all reforest. It's now a meadow. Someday it will again be a forest. Somebody told me it doesn't work that way because the trees won't come back. They suffocate each other out and the deer eat it down, blah, blah, blah. Well, this poplar tree is over 6 feet tall. There's a black haw. It's about 8 or 9 feet tall. Wow, we're going to go up. There's another black haw, 10 feet tall. Cherry, 12 feet tall. Listen, the winners win. The winners win. They make ways, not excuses. So, and what they'll do is they'll drown out the betas. The ones that sit around and get fat and happy and don't do anything, like our old Rooster Dean, they will just lose out. Listen, people, plants, animals who are driven to succeed will succeed. A blade of grass will grow through a leaf to live. If it's an alpha, if it's a doer, if it's an achiever. If it's a beta, it'll come up with excuses why it must just crumple and die. That's just how it goes, man, with life. All life forms. Look at this. Look at this. It's a cherry and a poplar side by side, already about 12 feet tall. All right, so anyway. Well, I'm home alone now, right? Which you know. And when I'm hearing bumps and bangs and stuff like that, it's not my wife. It's not my kid. So the other night, I was talking to Dearly on Messenger, FaceTiming each other, and it sounded like footsteps upstairs. And Dearly said, "What's that? Is someone there?" And I said, "No, you heard that too?" Through the phone, she heard it. I said, "It's just a haunted house." And she said, "Yeah, I guess so." And she's not thinking, "Oh, you got another woman there." She knows that's not the case. Wow, look at all these trees. Beautiful. We got pine trees up here that are over 8 feet tall now. I just heard something. So anyway, I'm thinking, why is all this stuff happening now? Listen, I don't think it's Bigfoot Sasquatch. People have said in the comments that Bigfoot Sasquatch has never harmed any of my livestock here. I think I have to agree with that. In the past, we've blamed the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch that may or may not be here for doing that. But no, think about when it's happened. It's always happened the same time of year. Spring. Right now it's May. This is when these odd things are happening. And didn't we just discover last May when we thought we had a dog man on the property? And I wrote about this in Bigfoot Sasquatch Files Volume 4, I think, or maybe 3, I don't know. If you haven't read those, you've got to. Go to the... We got movement. Oh, shoot, hold on. There's something back there. Hey, let me see that. You keep watching. I'm going to try to sneak up on it, whatever it is. Famous last words. Nah, I'm not scared of this stuff. Do you think if I was scared, I'd still be here? But listen, every spring we've found, and you can get Bigfoot Sasquatch files, print or Kindle, links in the description box below. It seems as if the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch leave this area and go back to the lair. You remember the lair where we discovered Bigfoot Sasquatch and was told loud and clear that we were not welcome? That's like their spring mating grounds, and when they're gone, stuff comes in here, potentially Dogman, potentially Wendigo. People have heard the screams and cackles, and they've identified it as a Wendigo. Somebody asked, "What's a Wendigo?" Well, it's like a Native American belief. It's kind of like a demon slash spirit slash curse, all combined into one. That it affects people who are greedy, who just want more and more and more and more, not because they need it. The people that will, like a glutton, who will continue to eat even after it's completely full, completely satiated, but it will still continue to eat. These are the types of people who get cursed with the spirit or the demonic possession of the Wendigo and become monsters and become cannibals. And there's recorded history of this stuff. So I don't know, but I think what I might have to do is go back to the lair of the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch and ask him, her, it, or they to return to my property to protect me and the animals I've got left from these malevolent entities, which may or may not be here. Whatever I saw back here is gone now, but it's like it's following me around. So that's the parts I haven't been telling you. Now, why isn't Bigfoot Sasquatch Files Volume 11 getting written? Well, just for now. And also, I'm kind of going back on my word about making an October Nights Part 2, at least for now. It's probably not going to happen this year. I haven't written an actual full-length standalone novel in years. My last one was The Box. Personally, what I think is the best book I've ever written, but it's the one that's had the least commercial success because it's kind of a romance and it's kind of like motivational, the stuff I talk about on some of these videos. And who wants to hear that, right? When you can read about Bigfoot and ghosts and serial killers. That was me throwing sticks. So anyway, I have been struck with inspiration for an ingenious, what I think is an ingenious idea for a story that's going to be too long to be a short story. So like October Nights, that's a collection of 31 different short stories that are like, a couple of them are only 2,000 words long, but some of them are 5,000 words long. But this idea I have, and I'm not going to give it away here, it's scary. It's not horror or supernatural. It's like psychological thriller, kind of like Off Switch. I told my wife about it, and she's like, oh my God, I would love to see a movie like that, because she likes movies more so than books. And so I haven't started. And every day when we talk, and we are talking, isn't she having a great time in the Philippines with Daniel, our son, and her family? First time she's been back in 5 years. So go watch her adventures on her channel, Life with Dearly. Like, subscribe, see her, meet her family. But every day we talk, she's like, did you start writing that book yet that you told me about? And I was like, no. She's like, you got to. She says, don't write any more Bigfoot Sasquatch Files for now. Don't write that October Nights Part 2. You've got to write that story while it's in your head before you forget it. Because it's going to be the best book you've ever written. And I kind of agree with her. So that's where we stand on that. And I'm getting started today. Maybe I'm making this video to procrastinate that process. Or maybe I'm making it to try to capture what may or may not be in the woods back here. But that's pretty much it. I wanted to give you an update on all that. How the rest of the animals are doing or aren't doing, sadly. Here's where I'm putting the tops of the pine tree I'm cutting off. Over here in this far corner that we can't see from anywhere unless we're like right here. And that stuff will dry out over the next couple of years and make excellent fire starter, like kindling. I just noticed a new walnut tree I haven't seen before. The squirrels bury these walnuts everywhere. But look at this. Things like, yep, it's walnut. Walnut trees, the leaves look a lot like Tree of Heaven, which is right here. You want to know how to tell the difference? Smell it. In the spring, the fresh new leaves of walnut trees will smell like the green walnut husks. The shells that are on the outside of the shells of the walnuts. So anyway, thanks for being here for another video from Homesteading Off the Grid and whatever the hell this channel's about. We'll see you for more next time.